Hello everyone. So this is going to be a very important video because in this video I will be talking about a guide to start your Atlassian career. Now many people ask me this question, Ravi, we want to learn Jira. Ravi, I want to become an Atlassian consultant like you. And based on their questions, I recommend them what they can do to achieve their goals, to learn Atlassian tools like Jira or Confluence. But most importantly, I want to know what roles they are targeting. So in this video, I will be, of course, covering various roles. We will try to understand what these roles are all about and what skills you need to have for those roles. At the same time, I want to also give you this learning path and most importantly, how we can start our learning, our journey to achieve those goals. Now, if you are thinking of learning Jira and Confluence, I'm also using the word, or I'm also trying to include Confluence here because people use Confluence along with Jira. And Confluence, although it's a simple tool, but people also want to learn it. And that is why I thought I'll probably include both of them because learning Jira can take some time because it is a bit complicated sometimes, or I should say it is not straightforward tool for everyone. So Jira is definitely the main highlight of this particular video, but if you can learn Jira, then please be assured that learning Confluence is probably 10 times simpler. Now, common questions that people ask me. People ask me questions like, I want to learn Jira, can you please recommend some books? So this is a slightly vague question. I mean, of course, I can recommend you my books, or there are other books. But if you ask me this question, I want to learn Jira, I want to know a bit more about why you want to learn Jira. Now, if you ask me this question, Ravi, I want to apply for a project manager role, but I don't know Jira. So this is slightly better question because I know that, yes, you want to become project manager, or you are project manager, or you need to know how Jira works to do your work. So this is definitely clear to me. And of course, I will probably ask you more questions, but if you ask me these questions or similar questions, then please be slightly specific about your objective. Now, if you want to become an Atlassian consultant like me, then of course, this is a great question. You can definitely become an Atlassian consultant like me, and there are many other Atlassian consultants I know. And if you become an Atlassian consultant, it is a great career option, which I think you can trust me because I'm an Atlassian consultant and I think I'm doing fine. In fact, I'm doing good. So definitely, if you are interested in becoming a consultant, good option. Now, if you are a software engineer and you don't know Jira, then depending upon the company where you are working or you're supposed to work, or maybe if you got a job, then learning Jira is probably a good option, especially if you are a software developer or engineer or maybe a tester, because I think it is, although learning Jira is not really complicated, it is absolutely simple thing to do, but you still need to spend some time on the tool to understand how it works. So this is again a valid question. Now, many people, or I should say most of us, if we are talking about learning a new technology or a skill, we are usually interested in growth in our career. And when you talk about learning Jira, it could be the start of your career, or maybe you are already experienced, but learning a tool like Jira or Confluence will definitely help you. So if you are new, maybe you are just in college, or maybe you are a fresh college graduate, or you just started working in a company, then absolutely you can and you should, in my opinion, learn Jira. It is, of course, not really a complicated thing, as I mentioned, but at the same time, you don't have to spend a lot of time. I mean, just start using it, and I'll, of course, give you some pointers in this video, and I'll also show you how to start. Now, the last thing is, if you add Jira or Confluence in your resume, if you know how these tools work, and we'll talk about how much you need to know, then definitely you will be considered for a role. Maybe if you're applying for a job, and imagine you along with someone else who has also applied, if you know a bit more about Jira than the other person, then I guess you have more chances. I think because learning a tool like Jira and Confluence is not really complicated. There is no harm in learning it. So you should, I think, spend some time, maybe do it yourself, or maybe subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching my videos, and you can of course learn simple things that you can do with Atlassian tools. So career and job, I believe, is one of the most important aspect, I guess, for everyone, not just for me or you. Now, if you have similar questions, then great, but please be specific about your questions. Do you want to learn Jira, Confluence, but not sure where to start? That is fine. But I guess you need to know, or you want to basically create this learning path for yourself based on those target roles. So let's talk about those target roles. And these roles are, again, not complicated roles. They are quite obvious roles, but you need to know why. You need to basically ask yourself why you want to learn a tool like Jira. Now, do you want to learn it just to do your work, or maybe you're supposed to manage a project, or maybe you are trying to become a Jira admin or maybe a consultant? So based on these questions, your learning path could be slightly different, and the skills, most importantly, because if you're trying to spend some time learning a new technology or a new skill, you need to basically focus on things that really matter, not really waste time on useless things. So very important that you understand how much you need to know. And again, we are again talking about the job here, because end of the day, if you are able to acquire your new Jira skills, then it will definitely help you either in getting a job or maybe at your work. Because if you can create that dashboard yourself, or maybe if you can create a report that will save not only your time but everyone's time, then I think you will shine. You will be respected. People will come to you. They will like working with you. So definitely it is a great addition to your existing skill set. Now, if we talk about those target roles, so the first role is of course user. Now, as the name suggests, they are people who work on the tool. That is it. They work on the tool to maybe do their normal day-to-day work. And a typical example could be a developer or a tester. And developers usually work on their requirements, stories, epics. And if you're a tester, or maybe if you are if you're supposed to report bugs, then your responsibility would be to simply just work on your own project or your own board, where you are looking at your stories or epics or bugs, whatever issue types that you may have in the project. Now, another example could be service desk agents. So service desk agents are usually agents who work on the tickets raised by the customers. And good thing about Jira is that Jira is not really limited to the technical teams. People from sales, HR, marketing, they can also use Jira. For example, you can use a Jira work management in case you want to use a tool like Jira for totally non-technical process like legal, or maybe your marketing team, because they don't really worry about usually they don't really care about stories and bugs. They just care about, okay, these are my tasks and this is my plan. That is it. Now, usually a user in Jira would create an issue, and if you're talking about Confluence, then they would create a page. And apart from that, based on the permissions, they may also assign tasks to each other. For example, I can create a story and I can assign it to someone, right? So usually this is what user is doing in most of the organizations. And if we talk about the scope of their skills, they don't really need to know a lot. And let me come to the skill part in a second. And usually, if you're a user of these tools, I should say, to summarize, they are responsible for collaboration with others. That is it. So if you know how to log into the tool, if you know how to find your issues, if you know how to maybe create simple reports, and if you can also add comments to each other, just collaborate with everyone. That is all you need to know. Again, this is something that anyone can do. I mean, anyone can be a Jira user, and you don't really need a special training to become a Jira user. You just need to know a few things. That is it. Now, talking about skills, as I just mentioned, not much. You just need a desire to learn and a little bit of knowledge of web-based tools, because Jira, when you work on Jira, although it comes with a mobile app, if you're on cloud, you can use the mobile app. It works really well. But mobile app is, of course, an app. It is a bit limited, but usually you would access Jira from the web, usually. And that is all you need. If you know how to work on a website, if you know how to open a browser to open a site, you can use Jira. That is it. It's a simple thing. Now, the second thing, the second role, so once you know how to work on the tool, once you are a user, then maybe you can think of learning the project administration activities. So they are usually people who are responsible for managing projects in teams. And a typical example would be a project manager, a scrum master, or people who are responsible for requirements like product managers, product owners. They are the ones who need to do few additional things. I mean, they are users, but they also have some additional rights depending upon how Jira is configured. And they usually plan the work. For example, if you are a project manager, then you will probably plan the work for the next 6 months, right? And they own the project. If you're talking about Jira software development projects, they would probably also manage their own team. They would add people to the project. They would also create components and versions. So they have some additional rights, and they are usually responsible for, as I mentioned, tracking the progress. So if they know how to work on the tool along with how to search for the information, and if they know how to create their own dashboards, I think that is all they need. There are, of course, few additional things that they also need to learn. But again, if you want to become a project administrator, then you can do that quite easily yourself. You might need to learn few things here and there, but again, very simple stuff. Now, skills needed to become a project admin. So again, a desire to learn. I think that is probably applicable for all the roles. But a basic understanding of project management concepts would help. If you're a Scrum Master and if you don't know Scrum, then that would be a bit of a shame, right? So it is not just about the tool, it is also about the process. It is also about the other skills. So using a tool like Jira is, again, not very complicated if you just want to focus on the usage and the management part of it. But you need to know those things, like what exactly is the difference between an epic or a story, what exactly is Kanban or Scrum. So process, that is important. So that is, I believe, the main thing. And learning a tool like Jira or Confluence would probably complement your existing project management skills. Now the next role, the third role, is probably the most complicated one, or at least for new users who want to target to become Jira administrators. Now, Jira administrators or Jira system administrators, they are usually the one who would maintain the application. They do all the customizations, and they take care of all the configurations in the tool. For example, they would create a new project, they would create workflows, and they will take care of all the automations. If you're talking about Jira Cloud, they would also take care of all the other maintenance aspects of the tool. And usually these people are system admins. So, system admins, people who work on servers, Linux, it could be Windows, by the way. And in most organizations, at least big organizations, they always had this department taking care of all the servers, and they are the ones who would maintain Jira as well. And if you're talking about Jira Server, the on-prem version, they would not only install Jira, but they're also the one responsible for upgrading. I mean, they can do it themselves, or maybe they can ask a partner to do it for them. But because Jira is installed on the server, and when you install Jira on your own server, or data center, I should say data center, then you would be installing a specific version. And from time to time, you have to upgrade to get those bug fixes. So these people, administrators, system admins, they do it. They're also responsible for good performance, and I always say that you should do a regular audit of your Jira instance. So this is under the scope of the administration part of the tool. And from time to time, depending upon the skills of these system admins, they can also evaluate apps, because people ask them, can we have this app? We want to use an app like Tempo for time tracking. Can you please install it? They may not know each and everything, but at least they know how to install the app, and they know what this app is all about. So this app management is also in a way part of the administrator and system administrator role, in my opinion. And they can also do migrations, and they do migrations, in fact. For example, if a team is using a legacy tool in an organization and they want to move to Jira, so they would probably raise a ticket for the support or for the system admins to do it for them. And depending upon how simple or difficult this migration is, they can, and they usually do the migration. Now, let us talk about skills, and I guess you know it already. They need to know really well Jira customizations. They are usually, as I mentioned, administrators of servers, so they are good in Linux or Windows. And this is something that usually people do when they want to become a consultant. I think you can only become a consultant when you are, in my opinion. I mean, my opinion might be different, but of course, this is the path that I took. I was an admin. I have a lot of experience maintaining those servers, although that was not really the main job of mine. But I'm comfortable installing or managing servers on Linux or also on Windows. I'm comfortable installing Jira, upgrading Jira, and at the same time, when you install Jira, you just don't install Jira. You install Java, and you also install a database, and you have to basically maintain the server. So you need to know. So it is, in my opinion, a very important job. Now, the fourth role that we have to understand that people look for and target for is a consultant, like me. So I'm a consultant, and to summarize, Atlassian consultant is a person who would help other organizations to get the most out of Atlassian tools, and they are usually experienced administrators. So basically, whatever we talked about in the previous section, system administrators, consultants are usually those ex-system admins, or I should say you can only become a consultant when you know the tool really well, when you know each and everything about the system, in my opinion. I mean, there are so many things that you can do without system admin knowledge, but it is always good to know how Jira is configured, how Jira is upgraded or maintained. Now, they usually work for a partner, or maybe they are a freelancer. So if you're contacting a partner, Atlassian partner, then you would be working with a consultant, experienced consultant. Now, they can also train other people. So all the technical stuff that we talked about, they do that, but they are also supposed to help others get the most out of Atlassian tools. So training, coaching is one big role that they have to play. So they have to know They should be comfortable talking to people, which I believe I try to do as much as I can. So they don't really have a good knowledge of the tool. Of course, you need to know the tool. You need to know Jira customizations. You need to know how Jira is maintained, installed. But they are usually also good with processes. So if you're a consultant, and if you're responsible for rolling out Jira for a software development team following Scrum, or let us say Safe, and if you don't know Agile, if you don't know what a sprint is, then I guess there's no point. So they are usually good in these processes as well, and also those software development practices. I'm of course giving you this example of software development, which is a bit, which is definitely not really, because each company is doing their own. They follow their own software development methodology. They may be following Agile, but no company is following Agile by book. They have their own version, and if you're working with a consultant will guide you in getting the most out of these tools. So they should be, I believe, in my opinion, experienced in these different practices. Now, if you're a consultant, or if you want to become a consultant, you should not only focus on Jira or the native features. You should also learn at least few apps really, really well, because no organization is using, most of the organizations, they don't just use Jira natively, they also have apps. So if you know apps like, let us say, EasyBI or Tempo or Structure or maybe Script Runner, for example, or if you know how to work on advanced roadmaps, then that would be wonderful. If I have to hire a consultant, I would probably hire someone who is not only system admin, but at the same time knows about processes. That person should also have experience in these other apps, because that is what these consultants are supposed to do. Because if they know how Jira works and they know the native features, cannot really do it, so they should have these skills with them to recommend to their customers. Okay, Jira cannot really do this, but I know this app that can do it, or I know two apps that can do it. But based on whether they are on server or cloud, based on the cost, they can recommend the right app. So knowledge of apps, very important. Now, skills needed for a consultant. So I guess you need to know customizations, reporting, because that is what these consultants do a lot. They are just like the system admins. They need to know, I believe, system admin, where we have to also upgrade Jira. So if you don't know how to work on Linux, I don't think you can upgrade Jira. So sorry, I'm a bit blunt. So you need to know system admin skills, and training and coaching. They should be comfortable talking to people. If you are shy, or if you're too, it is okay to be shy, but if you're too shy, or if you get too nervous talking to people, then probably improve it. Maybe make YouTube videos like me. I make YouTube videos every day, and I try to improve myself as much as I can. So I think this people, talking to people, presenting in front of a crowd is a good skill to have for a consultant. Now, as I mentioned before, knowledge of Agile and Safe is always good. I think you don't need to know Safe, but if you know Agile, I think that is all you need to know, in my opinion. And again, popular apps, which we covered. And the last point, scripting and app development. So there is an overlap. So if you talk about skills, and if you talk about various roles so far, so consultant and the next role would be developer. I think there is usually an overlap. So if you know scripting, wonderful. If you know app development, even better, because sometimes we have to also write plugins, I should say apps. So, or maybe if you are working with a client and that client is, let us say, using a very old version of a specific app that was developed or written 5 years ago, but now there is a need to upgrade it. So if you know a little bit of Java, or if you have some experience, you should be able to change few things and upgrade the app. So little bit of scripting and app development. Little bit. I think you should be comfortable with script programming in general, in my opinion. I mean, if you want to be a really good consultant, or at least it should be in your list of things to learn. So again, this video is based on these things that I'm trying to present here. This is my perspective based on what I have been doing, and I think I'm doing good. I'm doing quite well, and you can probably trust me. Or if you have any questions, or if you want to challenge me, feel free. You should challenge me. So these are the skills needed for consultant, and the next role is of a developer. And developer, as the name suggests, they develop apps, they write scripts for doing wonderful things in Jira. Now, this is again a vast role, but I'll probably focus on the key things, so they know usually Groovy. We're talking about Jira, and if you're talking about Jira on server or even cloud, Scriptner is a very common app that people use, and if you know Groovy, then you can write scripts in a Scriptner for Jira. And if you want to become, or if you want to write plugins, then usually it is Java, usually on server, and maybe if you're writing apps for cloud, I guess if you know Java or I guess Node.js, then you can. So you should be comfortable if you want to target yourself to become a developer. So these are the skills. I'm talking about the key skills, not really each and everything. And they know the tool really well. I mean, if you don't know how Jira works, then there is no point. I mean, you don't really need to know each and every aspect of Jira, or you don't need to know each and everything about all the apps or most common apps, but you should know what is the difference between screen scheme and issue type screen scheme, and you should know what webhooks are, how to configure them. So few things, or I should say more than few things, but you should have a decent knowledge of Jira customizations. That is what I'm trying to say here. And talking about skills, I guess Jira customizations, you should be proficient in at least a couple of these languages, or at least you should have a decent knowledge. I mean, if you're able to search online about a problem, and if you know how to search, if you know where to go on Stack Overflow, I think that is all you need to know. But again, programming language or programming experience is definitely the main thing here. And when we talk about development, we are not really talking about writing code. We also need to know about other software development practices and things like version control. If you're writing code, then you should be using version control system. Like you should be using Git, for example, for keeping track of those changes. And let us do a quick recap of with these roles. And I've tried to summarize this using this example, this diagram here. So broadly, we have two types of roles that we can target. We have non-admin and we have admin. So when we talk about non-admin, we are talking about user, and users are the people who work on the tool. Then we have project admin, and they manage the project. And talking about admin roles, we have, of course, system admin, administrators, they manage the instance. Then we have consultant. So consultants is probably the one with the most overlap. So they are also system admin. Their main role is to help organizations get the most out of Atlassian tools, but they can also write scripts and develop apps. So if you can do that, wonderful, and I'll hire you. And if you are an app developer, then your main focus is to write scripts. I mean, for example, if you don't like talking to people, I don't think you can think of becoming a consultant. But if you're comfortable just writing code, so you can probably look for and target to become app developer. So let us understand very quickly how to get started. Now, obviously, you have to identify what you want to achieve, what is your target role, and based on that particular target role, we have covered those skills. Make a list of those skills that you need to acquire to achieve that role. And my recommendation would be to follow some kind of a structured learning path, and something like this. For example, if you are targeting to become a consultant, so this is a simple flow that I had tried to create to give you this direction. For example, bare minimum, I think you should if you're watching this video, I think bare minimum you should and you must learn the usage of the tool and also the project admin. That is it. That is all you need to know. And I think you already know, I guess, a lot. For example, if you can work on the issues, if you can manage the project, if you know how to create versions, if you know the difference between a component and a label, if you can create reports, and if you know how to search, if you know a little bit of JQL, I think that is wonderful. Now, of course, if you want to become a system admin, then you need to know how Jira works, but at the same time, you need to acquire that knowledge of various configurations, customizations that you can do in Jira. And again, if I have to tell you how long it will take, I mean, if you take any online or any classroom Jira admin training, it is usually 2 days. But I'm not really talking about the training, because you can take that training and spend 2 days and acquire those skills, but you need some time. You need to give yourself some time to become good in it. So I would say if you start learning today, then in a couple of days you can learn the usage and the project admin part, but you need to give yourself, I think, 1 month roughly to get used to the tool, to become good in what you have learned. Similarly, in 2 or 3 months, you can probably, send your resume to someone, maybe a partner. Okay, I know how to upgrade Jira. And if you spend some time, if you spend maybe a couple of months to play with those skills, or use those skills to do something, maybe spend some time on the community, maybe try to understand what kind of questions people are asking. So based on those questions, try to answer them, or maybe use those skills yourself, maybe on your own Jira instance. And I guess in 2 or 3 months you can definitely become a good Jira system admin, and you can probably start customizing Jira. But definitely, if you're talking about a training, I'm sure there are a lot of people, depending upon the country. Usually it's a 2 or 3 day training that you can take. Now, if you want to become a consultant, becoming a consultant, or I would say, if you want to target to work for a partner, for example, or maybe if you want to do it yourself. So if you are targeting this role, I don't really think you can do it quickly, because you need to give yourself time. It is not just about the tool, it is also about different use cases that you can implement with those tools for various organizations. So if you have done system admin, Jira administration, customization for a while, for a couple of years, then you can, in the meantime, acquire those soft skills, where you have to maybe train others, maybe you have to coach others, maybe you are also doing a lot of talking and negotiating. And in a couple of years, you can definitely think of becoming a consultant. And similarly for app development. If you're talking about app development, you need to definitely acquire system admin skills, Jira customization skills. But at the same time, if you're talking about programming, if you have never really done programming before, then of course you need to spend time. And I would say, based on my experience, based on me working with other people, I think for both consultant and app developer, you need to spend time. You need to give yourself a couple of years. So if you are totally new to Jira, you have never really worked on these tools before. So if you want to become a consultant or maybe a plugin developer, app developer, then this is the path, learning path. And again, the time frame or the timeline that I have given you here is based on my experience, and it's a very generalized timeline. I might be wrong here, because some people are really smart, some people are actually genius, they can actually do it very quickly, and it also depends on how much you know already. For example, if I have to learn a new tool, totally new tool, similar to Jira, for example, if let us say if I have to become a consultant of monday.com or AHA, I don't think I need like 2 years. I think I can do it in maybe 6 months. So I'm sure if I start learning today, in a couple of months, I'll acquire all the knowledge of what this tool can do. But I need to also give myself some time. So I can definitely, I'm not really saying I'm a genius, but I'm saying that I have that experience already, because AHA, monday.com, they are similar tools. So depending upon your experience, this timeline could be different. So if you're not sure about, because if you want to target to learn Jira or Confluence, you can either do it on cloud or data center. So decide uh, where you want to spend time. If you're not sure, go for the cloud, because everyone is moving toward clouds. Uh, Only target server or data center if you know for sure that the company where you need to apply for a job, or if you're already in an organization, then you are, and if you're not really planning to leave that company for a while, and you know that that company is always going to use Jira on data center version, then of course you know that you have to spend time learning data center. But if you're not really sure, or if you're in doubt, go for the cloud. Now, to start using the tool, I would recommend that go to Atlassian website, especially this link, atlassian.com/software/Jira/work management, and start by creating a project, or even before you create a project, start by creating a new instance for yourself. And when you create a new instance, go for both, or in fact, go for Jira Work Management, Jira Software, and also Jira Service Management. And it is free for, I believe, for up to 3 users. So do that, in fact, to up to like 10 users. So that is wonderful, right? So you should do it. You should have an account. If you don't have an account, then it's a shame. Do it right now. And again, you can do a few things, like either you can sign up for the cloud instance, or if you are on data center, or if you're planning for data center, then install it on your own server and play with it. At the same time, do a few things like create a project using a template. I'll do that right now for you guys in this video. Then create a couple of issues, then create a couple of users, and learn how to search for issues, and then maybe try to create a dashboard. That is all you need to do. That is all you need to do right now. And if you want to learn how to do it, let us do it together. So you can of course sign up for this instance here, but I already have one instance. So I'll show you a few things today in this video, so that after watching this video, you can actually feel good that yes, we have done something. It is not just all about theory. And most of my videos, I would say 99% of my videos, are all about doing something on the tool. So this is my Jira instance, and when you create a new Jira instance, you will get something similar. You will get this menu on top. And if you create your own Jira instance, then you would be the admin, right? So you can go to projects and create a new project. So what we'll do in this video, we'll create a simple work management project. And let us start by using a template. And you can actually use a template here to get some configurations, some ready-made customizations, I should say, some workflows, issue types that will get you started very quickly. So maybe if you are in marketing team, right, and you want to use Jira for campaign management, so there is a template for that. Select it, and you will see that it will give you some features. It will give you these 2 issue types, and you will get a workflow with these different states. Now in this video, I don't really want to dive into what a workflow is, but workflow is nothing but a way to define life cycle of your issue. So when you create a new issue, you will create a new issue, or I should say, when I say issue, I'm talking about a new task. So when you create a new task, because in Jira everything is an issue, it's a general term, but you basically have issue types. So when you create a new task, the status would be not started, then you will move it to planning, then you will move it to in progress, and so on. And finally, you will close it, or the status would be done. And when you move from one status to another status, this is called as making a transition. So you have different states, and then you have transitions. Now you can use a template, and it will actually let you create a project. So you can give your project a name, marketing campaign, and you can actually change the template, but we already have this template. And you will get the option here to create a project which is either team managed or company managed. So I would say go for the company managed project, in case because team managed projects are simple projects, and the good thing about team managed projects is that you can manage it yourself. But let's go for company one, because you will be getting the full set of features. And the only thing is that company managed projects are managed by the administrator. So if you are doing it right now yourself, then go for the company managed ones. So it will be simpler and quicker for you to change things if you have to. And each project in Jira will have a key. So you can take a look at the key here, And when you create a new project, you can then, of course, see this project and you will get this board. Now, in this video, we'll not really do a deep dive. So let us do few things and then we'll end the video. So let us create a new task. So what you can do is you can actually click on this button, or you can also click on this button on top, or you can actually see this option here called create. So when you have to plan the work, you can actually see here that, we have the option to type in the name of the task. So my first campaign. So this is your issue, and you can actually create maybe one more, my second campaign. And when you click on this particular issue, this is basically a task in your Jira project. If you click on it, you can of course see the details of your issue. For example, this may seem overwhelming in the beginning if you're new to Jira, but don't worry about it too much right now. In this particular video, I just wanted to create a few simple tasks, and I wanted to give you a glimpse of what Jira can do. So this is of course your issue, or I should say your task. Now you can see here that you also have the option to add a description where you can type details. So this is my description. You can also do some formatting, which I'm sure you can do it yourself. You can save it. You can also have comments here, so people can comment on your issues. So let us say you want to assign this activity to someone, so you can actually assign it using this option here, but you can also bring in more people, so you can actually tag them. So if you type in @, you can actually tag people that please check this and save. So when you add comment, they can of course comment back and you can interact with them. And then you can assign the issue to someone if you have to, like I can assign it to myself. And the main thing is that you can actually also start the work. So this is the workflow. If you click on this view workflow link, it will give you this visual view of your workflow, which is right now, of course, displayed here. So this workflow is a simplified workflow where these statuses are not really linked to each other. And so the main thing here is that you can go to any status from any status. So if you want to go from not started to in review, you can do it directly. But if you want to follow a process, if you want to follow this path, you can actually do that as well. So you can actually convert this simplified workflow to a normal workflow where you can actually force people to follow a specific path. Like they cannot really move to in progress unless they click on the planning. So this is something that they can do. And you can also go back to your board, and you can do it from you can actually change the status from that view, or you can do it from here if you prefer dragging the issues or these cards from one column to another column. This is, I believe, of course, a very visual way of doing things, which is of course convenient. So this is your, of course, project, and you can create different tasks. You can assign it to people. And in this particular issue, because we are talking about this activity, now sometimes you have to break it up further. So you can also create a subtask. And depending upon how your project is configured, you can actually have subtasks that can actually tell others that this particular activity, this particular task, although it's a big task, but to achieve or to fulfill these, to basically achieve this or to complete this marketing campaign, you have to finish these subtasks. And you can see here that we also have the same interface for the subtask as well. So your subtask, the way it behaves, it is of course not really different from your normal task. And you can change the status of your subtask as well. Maybe you can change it to done. And the moment you change it to done, you can also see that overall the status of your issue can be different. It can reflect the status of the entire marketing campaign. For example, right now it says 50% of the marketing campaign is done because out of 2 subtasks you have finished one of them. And this is of course the project, but you can also go to your if you look within your project, you have the calendar view, you have the timeline view, where you can actually plan the work on a timeline. This is basically some kind of a roadmap, which is wonderful. So you can actually plan the work. And when you plan the work, you can actually see here that visually you have these dates. Like you want to start the work on 10th of February and it will go on till 13th. Wonderful thing, right? And you can actually create forms to capture data from other users, which is a wonderful thing. Now let us talk about search, and then we'll talk about very quickly dashboards. So if you want to search for issues, because of course this project can have maybe hundreds of issues, and you may want a better way to search. So you can go to search, and then you can click on issues, and then you can go to this particular interface. In the beginning, this particular interface will probably be something like this, where you will have maybe a list of 3 or 4 issues, but it can be hundreds of issues. So the way search works in Jira, you have to basically use this basic search or advanced search using JQL. If you're using the basic search, you can actually use this button on top called project, and you can select the project name. So I want to focus on only marketing campaign project. And then out of these 4 issues, I want to only focus on issues that are maybe not started. So this is a simple way of searching, and from this interface as well, you can actually change the view from your list view to detail view, so that you don't have to go to the project. You can actually just spend your entire day looking at your issues from this search interface, and you can actually play with the issues. So you can actually add a comment, you can actually assign it to someone. This is of course really convenient. And the last thing that I want to talk about today is the dashboarding capabilities. So when you have your issues in Jira, you can obviously, I'm sure you may also want to report on them, right? So you can actually create your own dashboard. So let us click on the button called create, and you can name it as marketing and save it. So when you create a new dashboard, you will get this interface where you can add gadgets. So you can actually add a gadget by searching. So let us say you want to add 2 gadgets called, let us say, pie chart. And at the same time, I may also want to add something like activity stream. So only 2 gadgets, a simple dashboard, but this dashboard will give us really good information about what is happening in the project. So this activity stream will of course show you what is happening in my Jira instance, but you can actually focus on a specific project. So maybe if you want this activity stream to only show you things happening in one project, you can actually do that. And at the same time, using this pie chart, you can actually create this report that will show you, let us say, how many issues are done, not done, and so on, based on the status, right? So this is a wonderful dashboard and a report that we have just created. And if you look at everything that we have covered so far, it has been, I think, 47 minutes, and we have learned a lot today. But the main thing is that within 5 minutes, if you know what you're doing, you can actually create a project, you can create issues, you can then, and by the way, I missed creating an instance. If you don't really have any instance yet, do it. Create one Jira instance and start playing. So you can actually do it very quickly. So learning the usage part of Jira, if you talk about just understanding how Jira works, how to create issues, how to assign it to other people, it will take very less time. So there is no reason why you shouldn't do it. So do it right now, and you can definitely start your learning. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about today was how can I help you further? Now, first of all, so I'm a consultant. I'm an Atlassian consultant. I help other organizations get the most out of Atlassian tools. So if you need help from me, let us say you have a simple question. So you feel free to add comments on my videos. But if you think you need a bit more than 2 minutes of my time, then please raise a ticket for me. You can go to my website, ravisagar.in/support. So this is basically going to be my own service desk where you will be raising a ticket. So you can do that. So if you click on this link, or you can just click on this contact me, and you can ask me questions if you need more than 2 minutes of my time. If you need some help with Atlassian tools, maybe you need help with scripting, or maybe you are interested in paid consultancy. So do take a look at sparxsys.com. And the only thing that I would ask you is please take a look at my website or my YouTube channel. So I make regular videos. In fact, I make regular videos every day. So please subscribe to my channel if you want to learn Atlassian tools. I can definitely help you. I have been doing it for many years, and my channel, my content is free. But if you want to buy a book, then do take a look at my books here. If you go to ravisagar.in/products, you will find all the books that I've written, and these books will probably help you these books will help you to get the most out of Atlassian tools. And as I mentioned, I make a lot of videos. I have a lot of free courses, and my intention is to keep my courses always free. So go to my website and go to the section called courses, and you will find all of my courses. I try to organize my content, my videos in these different courses so that it is easier for you. For example, if you want to learn Easy BI, you can do that. Just go to the Mastering Easy BI reports and take a look at these videos and start learning. And the last thing is, I would say that go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my videos, to my channel, to learn every day. I make videos every day. I try to make a video. No, I have been regular for a while. So I make videos every day on various topics. And not only I cover simple things like Jira, but I cover automation, script runner, I cover REST API a lot. So my area of expertise or my interest has been integrating Jira with other tools, or doing some automations, or doing some extreme customizations in the tool. So if you want to learn Jira, I can definitely help you, and you can subscribe to my channel to learn every day. And because I have a lot of books already, but I am planning to write at least two books in 1 year. And what I'm doing now is, of course, those books will be paid. The only thing that I have paid is my books, and I want to keep those books paid because I spend a lot of time making those books. So those books will be there on Amazon, but all the new books that I will be writing after February 2022, I want to give those books to free to all my members. So if you join my channel, you can actually click on this button, and if you join, all the active members of my channel will get the book for free. So that is something that I want to do for my active members. I mean, if you pay for those books, it will be slightly expensive than joining this channel. So this is something that you can do. And of course, if you join the channel, you will get some other benefits. Like I will make sure that I will reply to your comments or your tickets for sure, because I do receive a lot of tickets and a lot of comments. Although I try to reply to everyone, but it is not always possible. But if you join my channel, then you will come in the priority list. So that is all. That is all I wanted to talk about today in this video. Yes, I know, a long video. I'm making this long video after a while, but sometimes you have to spend time, a bit more time than 10 minutes to explain a concept. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.